Welcome to American Dreams. My guest today is Chris Maxson. Chris, welcome to today's show.
Hi, Alan. Thanks for having me.
So, Chris, I'm excited to have you on today. Your family has a legacy in a family business, and I want to walk through how you got to where you are today and currently what you're working on.
Oh, yeah, exciting. So my family's set up where we've owned a manufacturing or a construction-related business in the state of Minnesota since, I think, about the 1860s. But the structure is very interesting because we never inherited a business. So when I wanted to purchase Acucraft, with the company I currently own, which is a manufacturer of fireplaces, we looked at it as a family. And then my father, who was the managing partner of the family business at that time, loaned the money after he saw it and thought that it was a good deal, loaned the money to me to buy Acucraft, but it was a family loan. So the family actually kind of owned the entity until I was able to pay back the loan. And so I needed a 4-year degree. I needed 5 years of work experience outside of Acucraft or before I could purchase my own company with receiving the family investment. I think it was called an investment. And the family money was called capital. It wasn't a bank. It wasn't a loan. It was capital that needed to be paid back for me to be able to have ownership in it. And it's really interesting because the amount of work involved in starting a business or buying a business from scratch and not inheriting a business, I learned, I believe, so many different life lessons and business lessons through that because I had to battle through all the different components of growing a small business.
You know, it's interesting. Your business going all the way back to the 1860s.
Really?
Was it always fireplaces?
No, I mean, in the 1860s, my great-grandfather had a lumber mill up in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and that grew. And then there were other products that went along with that. With the purchase of land, there was real estate developing, and then my grandfather was an inventor. So he invented a lot of different products. You mentioned, some different components of the world and people that have made impact. He invented a lot of different products, and he made a decision to either license those products to others to build, or he said, or we want to build them. So when he and his brother invented like the electric gas pump, they decided to license that. So they licensed that for 15 years to a company called Wayne Pump. And then there are other products that he decided to develop, like the reading book for the blind. He decided to buy a recording studio, make records, and those records were made at his record studio, and those went out to teach people how to read Braille. And he also loved the recording business. I think he loved the party side of that maybe too. But he developed a lot of different businesses from the clip-on sunglasses, and he decided to make those clip-on sunglasses. So there are different products that he invented and different things that he chose to go into manufacturing or licensing.
You know, it's interesting. So, being the descendant of an innovator, in a lot of these things actually became common. Clip-on sunglasses. You know, we often we buy, we don't think about, well, someone came up with that idea, that concept. But as these businesses were developed and licensed to others, your family became one of entrepreneurs. So how did you actually get into the place that you are where you say, hey, I think I want to go back to my family and buy the custom fireplace industry?
Yeah. Well, thank you. So great question. I always had an entrepreneur spirit, I think, about me, and I always wanted to learn about like what my father did and grandfather did in business. And I think for me, hearing the stories about how they were able to make an impact, not so much on the financial side, not so much on the product side, but more on the people side, I always wanted to hear those stories. And so I think that's what drew me a lot to small business or entrepreneurship, was being able to make an impact in different ways. And for me, I think when I specifically was ready to start my entrepreneur, journey, my father asked me two questions. He says, what industry is going to grow for the next 10 years, and what are you going to do differently than anybody else? And so I researched a whole bunch of different industries, and actually 26 years ago today, I purchased Acucraft. So it's kind of an anniversary day for us here, so that's exciting. And so 27 years ago, I researched and I saw the construction industry was going to grow for about the next 10 years. And then my father says, what are you going to do different? And I said, boy, I'm not sure. I'll have to get back to you on that. And about a week later, I ordered a computer from Dell Computers. At that time, there wasn't a lot of internet purchases. I did it through a catalog. And Alan, I got off the phone with my Dell salesperson, and I was thinking to myself that this direct model of manufacturing is going to change the world. Because I just purchased a computer that hasn't been made yet, but it's going to be made for me. They haven't ordered the parts yet, and they've received all my money, and it's exactly what I want. So in 4 to 6 weeks, they're going to make the product, they're going to ship it to me, and then in 4 to 6 weeks later is when they're going to pay their suppliers. So 12 weeks from the time that they receive the first dollar from me until they have to pay for their materials, and it's custom and it's direct. And so that is where, when I was looking at Fireplace companies, I said, boy, I believe we can really transform the industry, because there's so many steps of distribution that we can manufacture fireplaces and sell direct using that Michael Dell model on a worldwide basis.
Can you describe a good client for you? What does that look like in terms of the size of the project? Are you wholesaling? Are you taking a crew out on site? And what do these projects look like? Give us a good visual there.
Oh, thank you, Alan. Boy, another great question. I would say that we have two main types of clients. One is just a homeowner that's looking to provide a fireplace for their legacy home. We call them legacy homes because this is typically their second or third home, but it's going to be their last home. And it's one that they want to really spend time with family. And they want to have an environment in a great room type setting where they can sit and they can share stories and have memories with their family. So our fireplaces are a little bit larger, they're a little bit bigger, they've got the viewing areas, and they're a little bit more unique. And so I think that's one real persona. That's majority of our business is homeowners looking for unique fireplaces to create unique atmospheres to be able to have those discussions. The second group is commercial/higher end architects and general contractors that are looking to differentiate their projects from anything else they've ever done before. And that's where we get into these custom crazy gas fireplaces where they were really looking for something that's a showstopper, that is a focal point of a home or of a commercial space.
What do people like to do more of, or what projects do you spend more time on? The custom fireplaces, or just setting up a gas fireplace that you can go into the homes?
Yeah, boy, we probably spend the majority of our time designing either the fronts for the wood burning fireplace and getting those to be really unique, and or being able to look at a lot of different crazy designs for these custom gas fireplaces. A restaurant owner by the name of Gordon Ramsay came to us about a year ago and said, I've got this Hell's Kitchen outdoor sign, and I want to put it in one of my restaurants, but I want flame all around it, and I want to enclose it in glass, but I want to put it in my largest restaurant and largest casino in America, and I want it to be the largest fireplace. And so we were able to build and design this, huge, I think it's like 20 feet wide, 15 foot tall, Hell's Kitchen fireplace with custom flames. And those are the types of things where probably we spend a lot of time doing a lot of those types of crazy, custom, unique, moonshot type projects, which are really fun.
So Chris, walk us through the process of a person comes to you and says, Chris, I want to put in a fireplace. Fine. Next step is what?
Next step, we're really always trying to determine exactly what are they looking for. And obviously, if they're coming to us, they're looking for something custom. They're looking for something different. In a custom home, I'd say 95%, 90% of what people are looking for is something that's unique or custom for them. And it's very challenging to find that in certain products. One of them is fireplaces. So what we're trying to do is try to find out, why did they come to us? Like, what makes them an Acucraft customer? Why are they looking for a custom fireplace? And trying to find out what are the 2 or 3 things that either they're looking for, or that the 2 or 3 things that they want to either achieve by having something different than this. Are they looking for it to be, like, if it is a commercial space where there are pictures taken? We do a lot of gas fireplaces in hospitals now, in recovery rooms, where you don't feel like you're in a hospital anymore. Like, there's more of an ambiance to it. And so what is the type of emotion or feeling that people are looking to also achieve with their fireplace?
Let's move into the advancements in fireplace technology. Can you tell us the latest and greatest that you're dealing with?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot. I mean, I believe the efficiency of even wood burning. I mean, some people say wood burning is one of the most renewable energy sources in the world, because when you cut down a tree and you harvest the wood, that you're able to then not transport that energy, but you're able to burn it, and you're able to dramatically reduce the use of fossil fuels, and that it emits sometimes more carbon by rotting than burning efficiently. So in the wood burning fireplace area, and burning wood efficiently is a new area of technology. The gas fireplaces and gas technology, where we're able to use a lot less BTUs and still get really cool, neat flames, is really nice. And then the electric fireplace world, we're not directly involved in that, but that is an area that is interesting and is getting better as a visual product, but it still requires and uses a lot of energy, to operate.
So can we find your fireplaces in the big box stores?
No, sir, Alan. We manufacture and sell direct, so we don't want anything to come between us and our customers. So Acucraft is available only on Acucraft.com, and we work directly with all of our customers. So, and it's very personal. So when clients come in, we start identifying exactly what you're looking for. We don't have salespeople, we have advisors. And then upon identifying exactly the product you're looking for, then you're working with a customer experience person. We don't have project managers. We have customer experience people that all they're looking for is what is the experience that you all deserve and want to receive. So then go ahead.
So an individual coming over to you, then essentially, is it typically the contractor that you're working with, or do you work with the homeowners directly?
We work a lot with the homeowners directly. We do work a lot with general contractors and a lot with architects and designers. Those are the 4 main groups we work with.
Okay. What are some of the ways that Acucraft is giving back?
Well, I think for us as a company, Acucraft really focuses on making a positive impact. And we look at our community and our give back in kind of 3 different ways, which is very similar to how the Great Commission is set up, where we want to give on a very local level in the city of Big Lake and this community. And then we obviously look at like the U.S. as an area that we really want to positively impact. And then we also look on a worldwide level. So last year, Acucraft supported 34 different organizations, and those organizations were split a third, based on, obviously the needs and the causes that the company adopted. So we give back in a lot of different ways, but a lot of it has to do with helping out the less fortunate, right? The needy, those are struggling with addiction, and then also just the widows and orphans.
I love it. Absolutely love it. So can you give us some examples, in addition to Gordon Ramsay, some of the other notable projects that you're working on right now? Just we're trying to get a feel for, the people that are listening, the type of client that you want to come in and work with directly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the people that are looking for something to put in their home that's different than anything else out there. Some of the projects we're working on right now, a lot of different projects are in like the mountain towns, where people are looking for, larger, big see-throughs and big indoor outdoors. So a lot of our fireplaces are like see-throughs, but indoor outdoors. We've got projects going on right now in Colorado where with these beautiful views, these homes are up on these bluffs, and you've got a fireplace, and it's an indoor-outdoor, so you see right through the fireplace, right out through the mountains. It's really cool. We're doing a lot of different things, in there, and then, a lot of different organizations we work with as well. So, for example, like a Cracker Barrel, where they are converting a lot of their wood-burning fireplaces over to gas. We're able to take their design, and they're able to order that specific fireplace from us, and it can be shipped to any one of their locations, and then we help them with the installation, of that. So Cracker Barrel's been a great customer. And then obviously a lot of the hotels are adding a lot more fire features, which is really neat, indoor and out. So that's really been cool. And then one thing back to the giving back, every fireplace we're selling this winter, we are donating one to Ukraine. So we worked with a Ukrainian pastor there who went out on the front lines when the war started, when Russia invaded, and kept asking the soldiers, what can I do to help? How can I help? And the soldiers said, boy, if you could go back home and take care of our families, we'd really appreciate it, because they had to leave in quite a hurry. And one thing this pastor found a year ago was that a lot of people needed heat. So we supported him for years. So he asked us if we'd be willing to partner with him on that. And so we came up with this really simple design. They're all made in Ukraine, and they're these little portable wood stoves that can heat a home there. And so we are able to donate those to soldiers' families and then other families in the community, that need the heat. And what's really neat is as soon as a fireplace is installed, that whole community, that whole neighborhood comes to start sleeping and spend the night there, because then they've got heat. And I was talking to Sergey. He showed me some pictures of these little stoves in Ukraine being installed. And I said, boy, I don't know. I mean, this thing's not, I don't know if it's installed 100% correctly, because it doesn't look like the pipe has been secured. And he goes, Chris, we want you to know that when these neighborhoods get invaded, they take the stoves with them. So these are, temporary installs for short term. And I'm like, wow, that just hit home for me about the life that so many of those people have. It was just so unfortunate, because of nothing that they did on their own has caused that type of almost invasion, right? And just disruption. It's just really sad, but it's a great thing to be a part of, to be able to support all these Ukrainian families. So we've been able to donate over 100 fireplaces, to the Ukraine families.
Well, Chris, you're an absolutely remarkable individual with a phenomenal business model, and I love everything you're doing. If a person wants more information on Acucraft, how would they reach out to you?
Yeah, direct at acucraft.com would be great.
Is that 2C, ACC?
1C. Yeah, 1C, Acucraft. Our founder was an amazing inventor, but not a great speller. So he had 1C at Acucraft, acucraft.com. Thank you, Alan.
Chris, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.